Legionnaires of the Lariat, welcome back. It is me, the more handsome host, Michael Wright, coming to you with with our review of Money in the Bank. Money in the Botch? No, Money in the Bank. That's right. With me, as always, is my tag team partner, Stevezapf. How's it going, Steven?
Oh, it's wonderful, Michael. It's been a rough couple days in the personal life, but outside of there, we're talking wrestling. We're going to talk to the Legion. It's all I need right now.
Yeah, sorry we're late with some of this stuff, guys. Life comes first. You guys we love you guys, but sometimes you got to take care of business. So Steven, I'm going to jump into it. What'd you think overall of Money in the Bank without getting to the matches? Overall, I thought it was a pretty entertaining show. It was, some parts of it was batshit crazy, and then other parts were quite surprising. So, what are you thinking right now?
I think it was good. I think this once again proves our point that WWE is putting on pay-per-view PLEs, if you will, that are a little bit too short, and AEW is putting on pay-per-views that are a little bit too long. I feel like there needs to be a little bit of middle ground here. I know we keep saying it, but I think it's the truest thing that we say is that they're one is going too long, one is going too short. We need a little bit of Goldilocks in here to find out which one's just right.
Well, I want to clarify that the length of this PLE was perfect. The 5 matches that took up half the time, and the rest of it was segments, entrances, promos, commercials for their PLEs or whatever it is. It took up the other half, and it was just too much. They just sitting there. There was a really good Gunther, which we won't get into it, but Gunther promo in this, and I was like, wow, they're really, really showcasing him right now. But this is really, really long. It was a great piece of hype video for Gunther. I really enjoyed it, but I'd much rather him just have a match. So I'm not quite sure. These matches could have been, some of them could have been longer. I'm glad that the women's Money in the Bank match wasn't longer because someone might have died. But otherwise,
did die.
I think someone did. There's like years were shaved off lives in that match. And
Zoe Stark should be dead. I'm not spoiling anything just yet. Zoe Stark should be dead.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And so at the end of the day, some of these matches, I thought these matches the finishes were quite predictable. There were some really good surprises that did happen though afterwards. And, even those surprises might have been a little predictable, but let's get into the thing. The first match was the men's ladder match, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, consisting of LA Knight, Jey Uso, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, Chad Gable, and Drew McIntyre. Who'd you pick for this one, Steven?
Yeah, I was wrong. Okay, I needed to try to win on this one. Yeah, I picked Jey Uso.
Wait, what? Oh, yeah, that's thanks. So I've gained another one because I had Drew McIntyre winning this one because it was so obvious he was going to win this match.
It was so obvious. I know it, and I said it when I picked it that it was so obvious. I didn't believe it when I said it.
Though parts of this match had me starting to believe that maybe Chad Gable could come out on top.
There were parts that had me believing that Chad Gable was going to come out on top. There was a point where I thought they were going to super pivot and go LA Knight just because he was so over coming out. Like,
if he wasn't knee deep in Logan Paul, like that sounds weird. But if he wasn't in such kind of a feud with him, I might have believed that. But the fact that he was in that, there was no way he's winning this. And if anyone had heard from Andrade before this match, maybe I could have believed him. But I'm not even quite sure why he was there in the first place. Not that he's not a talented wrestler. I think the world of him in the skill wise. They just haven't done anything with him to build to him being a believable winner of this match.
I mean, him and Carmelo were in here. I hate to say it like this, for the same reason why you put Kofi Kingston and Shelton Benjamin in these matches.
I disagree.
Because they do really cool stuff.
So I disagree to a certain extent. First of all, I think Carmelo might have been the MVP of this match. He had a lot of camera time, work time, whatever you want to call it. I feel like he was taking every big bump. And and I think that he made this match better by being a part of it. I've heard a little bit about people saying that they've been burying the new talent, and I think it's really funny that when people say that, because Lyra was in the finals of Queen of the Ring.
Queen of the Ring.
You have
She was
Carmelo
also in the women's Money in the Bank.
Yeah, Carmelo and Lyra in the Money in the Bank. On this card, you have Braun Breaker in an IC title match, and I know it like she wasn't part of this 3-person class of coming up, but Tiffany Stratton is almost as new. She was just a couple months ahead of these guys.
Yeah.
And she was in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and maybe one of those two won. And we'll get to that when we get to that match.
You know what? And we could say it on them because they were at NXT. Let's look at the entirety of the bloodline. The entirety of the bloodline right now has not been there longer than 6 months. This was
Fatu's first match.
Jacob Fatu's first match. Who else do we have on here? You know what? Say what you will, regardless of what you think of him after this match. Damian Priest has only been on the main roster for I think 2 years.
Is that it?
He's really only been there a little while. He came up definitely after pandemic. They had fans in the building. I know that. So he hasn't been there that long, and he still kind of gets a little bit of that old yellow and black NXT feel to him.
Interesting. So that he came in when I still wasn't paying much attention. So I missed that part. Though I have some gripes on the way they're handling him, and I'll get to that in a minute. But back to the Money in the Bank ladder match. This match was good. It was a solid Money in the Bank ladder match, in my opinion. Drew McIntyre winning was so obvious. I love how he threw a ladder like a lawn dart and knocked Uso off the top.
Hold on. He is Scottish. He threw it like a caber. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah.
He absolutely caber tossed that at.
Well, no, honestly, that's more from
here.
Yeah, so it's a little different. But
I've never seen an ending like that, which I will say that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Another cool spot in that match, I know we talked about this, was Chad Gable doing a German suplex to a ladder onto somebody. Also, really cool.
I can't tell if that was cool or corny, to be honest with you. I think that the best person in the world to do it was Chad Gable, either which way. But when he did it, I was like, all right, it's unique. But so that's all I got.
So sometimes you don't know if something's gonna work. Listen, I pop for it because if nothing else, it was different than I've never seen it. Mm-hmm. So seeing something different, at least I know you're trying. You're trying something. You're throwing stuff out there. Whether it was cool or it wasn't cool, it was cool enough to me that they did something different. This match in general,
I respect the moxie.
I agree with you that Carmelo was kind of the MVP of this match, but that
he took that
also
nasty sunset bomb.
He did, and that and again, that doesn't necessarily disagree with what I was saying, that he's the guy that they needed to do this stuff for. Carmelo. Carmelo did the moves that you would have seen. I hate to compare them just because because of the reasoning, but these are the moves that Kofi would have done back in the day. These are the moves that you put Sin Cara back in for the day. That, believe it or not, I don't think Ray's been in many, if any, Money in the Bank ladder matches. Oh no, he was in one.
He's been in one, yeah.
He's been in at least one. I think he was in one during the pandemic too. But all in all, this is Carmelo and Andrade kind of fit that. We have a luchador here. We have somebody who does flippies. We have the super athletic guy in Carmelo. I didn't believe they were going to win, but I knew they were going to do really cool stuff.
I thought that Carmelo had an outside chance to win. That is way more believable than Andrade, just because of his character, how they've been building him up. Oh, and when I was talking about the rookies, remember that Carmelo had a match against Cody Rhodes his very first night. Yes, he lost to the world champion, but like boo-hoo, he got a main event match against the world champion in his first night on the brand.
And
Just
a great showing.
And looked good. So just throw that out there. So this match was great. I liked it. It was a solid start to this card, but exactly what I kind of thought was going to happen. The next match is Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker. I find it funny how many people were surprised that Braun lost this match, because in my mind, he never had a chance.
People are mad about this. Like, all the people who used to be behind Sami all of a sudden are like, man, like, I'm going to say it. Us as wrestling fans, we are fickle, bro. Like, this is what is happening. Like, everyone, I can't believe they're burying Sami Zayn. He's so good. I can't believe he beat Gunther. I can't believe he beat Braun Breaker. Now you're booking him too strong. I don't know how they booked him strong. He got the hell beat out of him for however long this match was, for 90% of it.
So he's got, like, in a very different way, a very Flair fashion to him, right? Because Flair's best matches is him getting his ass kicked for 90 minutes and then somehow winning with a roll-up. Now, Sami has the most protected move in wrestling, in my opinion, with that haluva kick. One haluva kick to Braun Breaker and putting him down. That's what I think is a little suspect in this match. But at the same time, I'm with you. Like, I never expected Braun to win this match. It's closer than I'm making it sound right now, that between the two of them. But you and I both had Sami winning this. I think Sami should have won this. And, they're booking Sami the way I wish they'd book Priest.
I agree.
And I'll get to the Priest stuff because there's plenty to talk about in that next match. But it really bothers me the way they're booking Priest, and I just don't like it. I don't appreciate it.
I agree.
But Sami is getting that royal treatment, and it's fantastic.
I love what they're doing with Sami right now. I think I am a little shocked that he beat Braun so cleanly.
So cleanly.
So cleanly. I thought they were going to either sell off of that knee injury that they were playing off of, or there was going to be outside interference. One way or another, again, I said this when we previewed the show. I wasn't sure if they were going to let Sami win, but Sami wasn't losing the title at the end of the day. That was where I was at. I don't think Sami was going to lose the title on this pay-per-view.
But you know where he's going to lose it? At SummerSlam in about 37 seconds. Seriously, I think Braun Breaker's going to squash him next time. He's going to come out and hit it. It's going to look like those original squash matches he was having. And because he learned from this match to not let Sami hang around. Because if he hangs around, he can win. But if you finish him off quickly, he can be champion. And I think that's what's going to happen at SummerSlam.
I could absolutely see that. Let's see how they play off the IC title at this point for leading into SummerSlam. They got about 3 weeks left until SummerSlam. So let's see how they build up this match, or the rematch / IC title match for SummerSlam.
Well, you got Dragunov getting involved. You're going to have Sheamus involved. We'll see how
I don't know if you have Sheamus involved. They're doing some more stuff with him on other stuff. We'll talk about that more on our weekly review episode.
Yeah. So the next match, we both had Priest winning. I thought it was pretty obvious that Priest won. We made these predictions before Drew said that he was definitely going to cash it in during this night. So we probably would have had a little bit different predictions in here if that was the case. But we both had Priest winning. This match was great until one particular spot, but I really enjoyed this match. I really liked the way they came out and really started to attack each other to try to finish the match quickly. And then I really liked how they were both scared about Drew coming down.
About Drew.
I thought, constantly looking at the rampway, waiting for the music to come on, looking and watching for him. I thought that was a really clever way to do this. And then we get to the botch, which there's a story that's going around and then Steven and I both believe a slightly different story. So the story is Priest should have kicked out of the Falcon Arrow because no one gets pinned by the Falcon Arrow anymore. And he was supposed to kick out, and then the music was supposed to hit. The referee did what he was supposed to do. I blame the referee zero. I think he did what he had to do
I
in
think
that moment.
I think in this case the ref, under normal circumstances, I would have said the ref did the wrong thing and he should have counted it. But at the same time, knowing what the storyline is moving forward, this is a bigger situation. This is the exception to the rule. I know this ref is catching a lot of flack, mainly because he's also the ref that was reffing the night that they had the three-way match for Mania to close out with Becky, Ronda, and Charlotte, where Ronda's shoulders weren't on the mat, and he still counted the 3 count. So he's catching.
He didn't referee the King of the Ring final, did he?
I don't think so.
And did he pull himself out of the ring for Tongaloa's debut?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Just curious.
I'm not sure who again, I haven't. Unfortunately, I don't pay as much attention to refs, to current referees as I used to past referees. But I've listened to, again, I've heard like Brian Hepner and some of these other guys who are very, very experienced referees. Again, the name Hepner and refereeing for wrestling is synonymous at this point.
Fact.
His father and his uncle are the 2 most famous and or infamous referees in history because of the Hogan Andre thing. Brian is a stellar one. I believe it was Chad Patton was the other one that was involved in their podcast called Reffing Up, or Reffing It Up as opposed to Revving It Up. But they said that they don't feel that he did anything wrong. I don't think he really did anything wrong.
Agreed.
Knowing what was supposed to happen afterwards, because unfortunately, if you count the 3 on Priest, at the end of the day, no matter what you're supposed to be doing, you have a brand new world champion. Even if you're screwing Drew.
Yeah, you'd still be able to do all that stuff. You'd get DQ'd, and then Rollins is the champion.
And they didn't want Rollins as the champion just yet, because it screws up everything they have planned for their long-term storytelling.
The person I kind of blame, so if it's to be believed, the music was not supposed to hit earlier. I think it was, because that's how that kind of segment works better, is at the 1 count, music hits, Seth looks up and gives up the pin, you get a 2 count, Damian Priest is still down, so he could have gotten the 3 count. So I think that's most likely. They said that's not what happened. I think it kind of is. But also, you and I were talking about this. I, from the very get-go, was like, oh shit, Priest is hurt. He definitely got his bell rung.
He got his bell rung.
And I think that's the main reason he didn't kick out. Like, he should have kicked out. Like, at the end of the day, like, he gets that 2 count, the music doesn't hit, you have to be aware enough to put the shoulder up. Unless you're seeing stars.
Well,
if you're seeing stars, there's not much you can do about it.
Whether he got his bell rung or he landed and, had something happen. Maybe he landed on his kidneys or something like that. Something where it's not his head, but like he landed rough.
You're spinning regardless.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, if you land on your head and you're out of it like that, you don't know what's going on. Secondly, if you land on your back the right way and you have the wind knocked out of you, or you land on your kidneys a certain way, you see it in boxing all the time with like kidney punches, where you just go down and you want to get up and your body is physically not letting you. So
there's a great example of this, and great in air quotes, because anyone getting hurt isn't something I enjoy watching. But there's like a backstage segment that they filmed RVD after getting his bell really rung. And the whole time someone's going back there kind of telling him he won the match. But all he was saying was like, come on, get out of my way. I need to go and wrestle. he completely forgot that he had a whole match. And like if you watch it, like it's kind of scary. It's like watching a train wreck. It's kind of scary watching how out of it he is, knowing that he had just wrestled.
Yeah.
And he got dropped on his head. Or I'm not quite sure exactly. I don't remember exactly what happened. I think it was a TNA match or something like that. But
Well, there's, I mean, and then of course the infamous Foley going through the cage and him being out of it, or like him taking the chair shots from The Rock and not remembering taking the chair shots.
Up.
Yeah, he doesn't remember the chair shots, let alone to put his hands up. So, listen, I fully believe that he had his bell rung. I think that is the way the situation happened, one way or another.
Watch the match, like you see it. He got his bell rung,
and I think that's also why. At the end of it, we talked about this. I think that's why he's so mad at the end of the match.
Mm-hmm.
Not because he couldn't make the kick out. He got mad about the spot. The only thing that I will critique Priest on in this aspect is I think he shouldn't have sold the botch. Because he gave credit to it by being mad at the end of the match, it unfortunately gives you this idea that you're letting people in that wasn't what was supposed to happen. He could have, if he had just been mad that Drew came, like if he had sold it more like Drew came down and he was mad about that, and like CM Punk screwed everything up and there was so much outside interference, and his one thing was that he didn't want outside interference, that might have been a little bit better. But I think all around with this, again, I think even that decision means he was probably hurt.
Yeah. And then I can't believe you're wearing that hat in my presence right now, because CM Punk could take a hike. Him coming down. I don't get it, Steven. Maybe you can help me understand. I don't understand why we boo Drew McIntyre and we cheer CM Punk. He destroyed McIntyre in a match he had no business being in. He destroyed him with that chair, choked him with the wires outside, and he's the good guy.
I will say this for him. Here's the only thing that and I'm not saying he's a good guy. I'm not saying he's a babyface whatsoever. CM Punk is pretty honest about that. He's the one who flat out says, I'm not a good guy. I'm not a hero. He at least is honest about that. Now, kind of the thing that we have said, and, you know, Michael Cole, who obviously listens to our show, definitely does, has said how Drew McIntyre's whole arc has been this arc of hypocrisy. Again, I believe a certain Mr. Showtime Michael Wright is the first one to have said that. And a different Michael Cole, if you will, Mackle, is the one who has stolen it from Showtime. Now then,
can't bottle up this genius.
Now then, that's the only thing that I will say about Punk. He hasn't lied about who he is. And I'm not saying he's a good guy. But he also hasn't said, I'm such a good guy. Like, I will, like, you can trust me. He said, you can trust me. You can trust me that I'm going to do whatever the hell I want to do.
It's infuriating.
It's infuriating that he gets cheered for it. But at the same time, he doesn't. I think this is one of those, he's almost so far past the breaking point that unless he goes and screws Cody or screws someone along those lines, he's not gonna get booed.
Do you know what's even more infuriating? The way they booked Damian Priest this World Championship. If you've worked so hard to make this championship mean something, and he has yet to win a match on his own
without outside interference, and I don't know what's more infuriating, the booking since WrestleMania of Damian Priest's title run, or up until at least Forbidden Door, Swerve's title run. I don't know which one makes me more mad. At least Swerve looks like he's turning the corner. That's the only thing that...
One. Because at least
it's the Priest one.
Even though Swerve kind of felt like a secondary player. He had strong outings in the ring. Every single match he had, he looked strong. And I think that this last match where he went over Ospreay made him look really legitimately strong. The only way Priest salvages this title run and makes it worth anything is if he beats Gunther clean. He's got to beat Gunther at SummerSlam.
I know this seems like it's not gonna happen.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
I'm leaning towards the idea of Priest beating Gunther
cleanly.
I don't know if he's gonna beat him cleanly. I think
clean.
I think Gunther is coming up short for this world title.
It's and Priest, like, south of heaven, take him down.
Yeah.
It could be 6 of them in a row. I don't care. But
or he actually nails the Razor's Edge and wins with it.
Stop calling it that. It's not that. It's Crucifixion Bomb.
If he wins with it, is it the Razor's Edge?
No, it's not. He doesn't throw. He got lucky with the Crucifix Bomb.
What if he hits him with my finisher that he hit in this match on Seth Rollins?
And he did that for you.
He did, except for he still hits it fucking half-ass.
That's why I didn't win.
That's why I didn't win.
I like this match, except for the botch. I like the aftermath. Anyone who's crying over them wasting the money in the bank, get over it. I understand that. I understand that you could have done more with somebody else and built them up, but we just had one of the longest money in the bank holders of all times. Let's just go without it right now. We'll have the women's one. It's fine.
I agree with you. And a lot of people, a lot of the ones I've heard is, so we're going to go an entire year without a men's Money in the Bank? Yeah. Yeah, we are.
We had a full year with it last year.
We went a full year with it. Let's go a full year without it. And this actually, I think, gives a little bit more emphasis on, like, the Royal Rumble and things like that can really propel
Joe
somebody
Hendry
into yes, Joe Hendry. That's all right. With how people are saying that they think they wasted the men's Money in the Bank, I have my own theory on the women's after this, but let's review the women's before I go into my theory.
You mean that train wreck between Io Sky, Chelsea Green,
that was an explosion.
Lyra Valkyria, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, and Zoe Stark? You mean that catastrophe?
The match where people died. Someone died. That's why Io's not there. She dead.
This was insane.
Did you see the back arch that Io did after hitting the one move? She's dead.
And that was real. This match was real. You say whatever. I never call wrestling fake. I understand the pain and all that stuff that goes along with it. This shit was real. And it built to a crescendo where at the end, when Chelsea Green takes that giant table spot off the top of the ladders, I audibly yelled out, "No!" Because I just expected the worst. Like, she was gonna miss the tables altogether. Because some of these things, they took some of the hardest bumps I've ever seen. Particularly,
and by
Lyra,
that I mean it was awesome, but it was.
Lyra took a shoulder bump to the ladder in the beginning that looked like it was devastating. Zoe Stark, I think, did she catch her head on that? When she
driver onto the edge of the.
No, not that one. When she does that flip over the ropes and she completely missed Lyra, and it looked like she might have hit her head on the back of her head on the ladder.
I saw that one too. Zoe kind of landed a bit rough throughout that entire match.
She definitely she was the one that took that pile driver onto the ladders from Io, right?
From the top of the ladders. Yeah, it was.
Oh, Naomi took a disgusting, unprettier kind of thing at one point in time. What do you think about that split spot?
The split DDT.
Yeah,
It
is that
was
where she went when she's like split between the two
two, and she
ladders?
hit somebody with a DDT from it. It was. It was again. I'm going to give it its due, same as Chad doing the German suplex to the ladder. It was different,
Yeah,
and
it was exactly the same situation. I'm with you.
it was different. I don't know if I think I feel like I like the Chad spot better than I like this one. Again, I'm going to say this, and I said this to you before us recording. The women's Money in the Bank ladder match, unfortunately, falls victim to my theory on a lot of the uh, women's gimmick matches, and that's a lot of the stuff. At least in the very beginning, seems very rushed, and unfortunately, when they rush it like that, it's I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it look like it's going fast. I know Showtime, you talk about pace of match a lot of times, and I think they're trying to have this crazy pace of match, not realizing that if they just went at the normal speed, it probably would look better and faster. But here's the thing, I'm going to pivot on this myself where I say that's the first quarter of the match. The last 3 quarters of the match are a train wreck in the best way. This was
the craziest spots. Like,
some of the craziest spots. A whole lot less Jamokin than I thought I would see. And the Jamokin I saw was justified. This wasn't Jamokin. You were dead.
Yeah, that's not Jamokin. If you have a reason to be dead, then be dead. It's cool. I understand. And
like
Io
Chelsea
couldn't
Green
even
should
be
still
dead.
be dead. Chelsea
Io
Green's probably still
dead.
dead. Io's probably still dead. Lyra is probably still dead.
She was arched. She was so dead that she was arched. Her soul was trying to escape her body.
Zoe, I don't know how Zoe showed up on Monday, but she did. I think she was a hologram. I think AI is just getting that advanced.
And then did anybody touch Tiffy this whole match?
I don't think so.
I don't remember a single big spot with her in it.
No,
she's our winner.
She's our winner.
We got her winner, so she will be the women's Money in the Bank. I expect her to milk this the same way I would have expected Chelsea Green to. I think she'll be a fantastic Money in the Bank holder.
I'm going to throw a monkey wrench into the works here a little bit. I agree with you. I think they are going to have her milk this.
Mm-hmm.
I will go on this one, though. She is currently playing off this friendship with Nia Jax. Her cash in at SummerSlam still makes sense because it makes her. She's the one who's screwing Nia Jax at this point. It makes her a bigger heel. It makes Nia Jax kind of the girl who's getting screwed out of this again. I think it makes a lot of sense for them to do it. I don't know if they're going to do it. I think they are going to milk this a little bit. But I also wouldn't be surprised if SummerSlam, Nia Jax hits Bayley with something big, a Samoan drop, hits the bonsai drop, whatever she's calling it these days. It's still the bonsai drop. And all of a sudden, like, Tiffany comes out. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Tiffany come out without music.
Just sneaks in, nails her with the briefcase, hits the moonsault on both of them, and just takes the win and takes the title at SummerSlam. And we get, I think it's going to be Tiffy time. I think we're going to get a new champion when she cashes in. I think it's about that time. I think the fans are ready to see her. I think this was the exact amount of buildup we needed for Tiffany Stratton, because we were both worried that they were going to push her too fast. And I think they took their foot off the gas just enough for her. I think so too. They took a break on her. She lost that match to Naomi, which I really appreciated because I was really surprised when they put her over on Naomi so cleanly. And then Naomi coming back and beating her, I thought really put her in her place. I thought that was the right thing to do. This match was epic. This was, I don't know how to say it. I had said before, I think sometimes the women's matches, particularly these gimmick matches, they feel the need to go so much further above and beyond the men's, and that's why we get some of these things to be taken serious. We can't be as good as the men. We have to be better in order to get noticed. So I think there's a little bit of that in there as well. But this match was absolute bonkers. Oh, the other thing is, I also think that because they're so light, so much lighter, that they bounce off the ladders harder.
I
Like
agree.
maybe that, like it's science, right? That's
That it could be
dynamics of
science. Either way,
it's
this
just
match was insane. I think we've been getting a lot of really good women's matches since like before Mania. Like
mhm.
honestly, the women's matches have been super entertaining in both companies. I don't want to just I want to clarify. This is not me gushing over
Yeah,
just WWE. The women's matches, both of us have said kind of every pay-per-view or PLE that that women's match might be the best wrestling match, at least straight wrestling match.
Tony
Everything with
Storm's my
Tony
girl.
Storm, everything with Mercedes Monet, everything.
Mm,
I,
I love the last Mania match.
I didn't love it, but it was still a good match. I think again we liked her versus Stephanie Vaquer. It was still good. I
I like
think
Stephanie Vaquero in that one.
we've been talking a lot about Willow Nightingale in the weekly shows and the reviews. Honestly, we've been seeing really good women's matches pretty much all year. Since about February, we've been seeing some good women's matches, and
Mhm.
this is just another one. This is them proving that they're stepping up even more.
I agree. And then our final match of the night, the what they call main event, was
But Jey
Cody
Uso wasn't in
Rhodes.
it.
It's the not the no, it's still the main event. I don't
It's
care
still a main
where he
event.
was. He's now the curtain jerker, Jey Uso. Um, you have Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and a breathing's not the right word, but hurting Kevin Owens, whose mom was in the hospital. We wish the Owens clan all the speediest recoveries. Hope everybody's okay. Uh, but at the same time, KO was ultimately fired up to face the bloodline of Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Jacob Fatu. And I'm just going to start here with Jacob Fatu. And man, is this guy a beast. He is like, I don't buy the rumors that they held off on Jacob Fatu because they thought he was going to make Solo look bad. But I get why that was the rumor. If
Yeah,
that's the right way to say it.
because
Uh,
Jacob Fatu made everybody look bad in this.
yeah.
Jacob
The
Fatu is, oh my god. That's all I can say is, oh my god, he was.
the Randy throwing him out when he came back in, hitting the second rope DDT, and then him just getting up while Randy's getting ready for the RKO
All
was
psychotic looking.
epic. It was like that was I'm like, oh no. Oh no, he's gonna eat him. He's literally gonna just rip off an arm and start eating it like a chicken leg.
Also, I love the fact that so I know we've said it on this show. I have heard it on other shows, on other podcasts where they talk about this, that they can sell Jacob Fatu as a truly dangerous man by saying, hey, he might not be allowed in this country, and that's why he
Mm-hmm.
wasn't there. And they did it. I love the fact that, like, it's not a predictable thing if it's a real life storyline that you can play off of. You don't have to say anything that he's done in his life. You just have to say, hey, he wasn't allowed to leave and we had to pull strings because he's a truly dangerous man.
Mm-hmm.
One thing, he looks dangerous. I think since his MLW days, he's dropped about 40 pounds. That still puts him at like 280, 290. That's a big Samoan.
Sure.
Actually, that might be a small Samoan.
Yeah.
But
but still a big normal person.
and he just looks awesome. He looked great.
This match was good. I really enjoyed it. I really liked Kevin Owens in this match. I'm glad he didn't take the pin. I'm glad Cody took the pin from Solo. I thought that was really well done. It sets up SummerSlam of Solo versus Cody. I have no qualms with that. I would like to have seen Randy inch a little bit closer to heeldom, But he seems pretty content with being a face. Bloodline. My biggest gripe about this happened too late. Like, this should have been a pretty quick after Mania feud. It wasn't ready yet, which I get it, but at the same time, it should have been faster. You should have known that this was what was coming in, because it makes no sense that Solo and Gang took the pedal off the metal and gave Cody enough time to feud with to have 3 different feuds, two of them with one person. So, anything else you got on this match, Steven?
So I like this. I will pose this question to you. Obviously, Solo won because it sets up Solo going into SummerSlam against Cody. That's the big thing. I'm going to give it to you this way. What if Jacob had won? Had taken the pin and afterwards said, "No, I did this for the family. I did this for you, my tribal chief. Here's I want you to have this match." I think it would have been a nice little interesting wrinkle. The other wrinkle that I wanted to throw out there.
He kind of did that. It was slightly there at the end of him kind of helping Solo take the match and all that stuff. It was there kind of a fraction of what you're looking for.
The other wrinkle that I'd like to throw in there, because I would have liked to have seen this, and I know obviously the obvious choice was for Drew to come in for the World Heavyweight title. But if Drew had come out and cashed in on this, on this match after Cody had already taken the pin, for taking the spike, taking the splash, done whatever, I don't know. I think that would have been cool. It would have been a nice change of scenery. It would have been one of those things where, again, we're changing the precedent where Cody is the champion that can lose now.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like we're still in that place where Cody can't lose the title right now because it took 4 years to get it off Roman. So now the guy that beat him can't lose it right yet. But
you built him up.
But the precedent might be better. We've said this before. If they don't build him up that much, if he's the champion that can lose the title, if all of a sudden now these other contenders look like they're viable contenders. But that's all I have for this match. Honestly, I liked it. I liked the pay-per-view. I'm sorry, the PLE overall. I thought it was.
I agree.
It was solid. It was a solid WWE
another solid pay-per-view. Above average.
Listen, if anyone's wondering if WWE can do anything right now, they made Paul Heyman a babyface. So there's that.
And I think that's where we can sign off, because I don't know how you go anywhere up from Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman babyface just makes me feel dirty. I gotta go take a shower.
I can't wait for him to come out at SummerSlam. I can't wait.
With Roman.
It's going to be so amazing.
So thank you for joining us, guys. This was our review of Money in the Bank. Solid show. Thanks for joining us. If you guys disagree with us, tell us why we're wrong. Tell us why I should be mad that Braun Breaker lost. Tell me why I should think that they wasted the Money in the Bank. Tell me why we should be harder on Priest. Tell me whatever you want. I disagree, honestly. But just know that I'm just always right. So you got that going for you.
He is always right.
But we do want to hear your opinions. Please like and subscribe. Share it if you feel inclined. I can't tell you how much we appreciate you guys. We do this for you, and we're glad to have you. Thank you for listening.
Guys, thank you so much. Appreciate you. We'll be back with you for our weekly review. All right, guys, have a good one.
Have a good one. Smooches.